Hello and welcome. You have found your way to a quiet place, the safe harbor from the noise of the day. It is late, the world is asleep, and it is time for you too to let go. It is time to find your stillness. To find your peace, let us begin by breathing together. A slow, deep breath in. Feel the air cool and clean enter your lungs. Feel your chest rise gently. Hold that breath just for a moment. A pause. And now a long, slow, full exhalation. Let it all go. Feel the weight of the day leave you. Feel your shoulders soften. Feel the muscles in your jaw release. You are in a safe place. You are here to rest. Our story tonight begins inside. We are already safe from the night. Outside, a storm is raging. A cold autumn rain. A wind that makes a low, mournful sound as it moves through the trees. But we are not out there. We are inside a large old house. A house built of stone and heavy timber. A house that has stood for 100 years, and it is a house that is fast asleep. We are standing in a great main hall. It is dark. The only light comes from the dying embers in a vast stone fireplace, a low red and orange pulse of light that breathes softly in the darkness. It casts a faint warm glow on a thick wool rug and the legs of a heavy oak table. The air is cool and still. It smells of wood smoke and old books and the faint waxy scent of snuffed candles. The house is at rest. From the corner, a grandfather clock marks the passage of time with a deep, slow wooden beat. The sound is muffled, comforting. It is the only sound down here, the sound of the house's sleeping heart. But we are not staying here. Our journey is upward. Our traveler, our guide, is Ilara, the alchemist, and her work is just beginning. She stands a still figure in the dim hall. She is not part of the house's sleep. She is awake. She is focused. She is ready. She turns away from the dying embers. She moves silently across the thick rug. Her feet in soft slippers make no sound. She is a ghost in her own home. She moves towards the back of the hall, to a place that is hidden from view, a small unassuming door tucked beneath the main staircase. She opens it. The door opens with a faint woody sound of well-oiled hinges. It reveals not a closet, but a staircase, a narrow spiral staircase made of dark old wood. It goes up, into the darkness. This is her path. She steps inside. She pulls the heavy hall door closed behind her. There is a soft sound of the latch catching, and the world is transformed. The dim ember light is gone. The faint smell of wood smoke is gone. The slow beat of the grandfather clock is gone. She is now in a new world, a world of close darkness. The staircase is a narrow wooden tube. It is dark, but the air feels different. It is warmer here. The air is moving. It is flowing down from above, a gentle current of warm, dry air, and it carries a new scent. A scent that is faint at first, but grows stronger. It is the scent of her work. It is the scent of dried herbs, a faint sharp smell of lavender and rosemary, and beneath that the smell of dry wood and old dust and something else, a clean, sharp, almost metallic scent, the scent of ozone, the scent of the rain outside and the sound. Down in the hall the storm was a distant murmur, a faint rumble. Here in this wooden shaft it is closer. It is above her. She can hear it. The constant steady drumming of the rain on the roof of the house. It is a sound that is not alarming. It is a sound that is muffled by distance and by the thick timbers of the house. But it is there, a constant gentle rhythm, a drumming that fills the air. It is a sound of the outside, a sound that makes the inside feel even safer. Even more secure, Ilara begins to climb. She places her hand on the central pillar of the spiral staircase. The wood is thick and polished smooth by years of her own hand. It is warm to the touch. She places her foot on the first step. It is a triangular wedge of wood. It is solid. It makes a soft, solid sound under her slipper. A dull, woody sound of contact. She climbs, step after step, up and round, up and round. The staircase is dark. She does not need light. She knows this path better than any other. Her hand glides along the smooth central pillar. Her feet find the center of each worn step. Her movements are fluid and silent and sure, a slow meditative ascent, and as she climbs, the sensations intensify. The air grows warmer. Each step up brings her closer to the source of the heat. The attic, her laboratory. The attic where her small fireplace is always kept alive. The air becomes drier, and the scent becomes stronger. The sharp herbal notes of lavender and thyme and something spicy like clove or cinnamon. It is the scent of her dried bunches of herbs, the smell of her work. It is a comforting, familiar perfume. It is the smell of her sanctuary, and the sound of the rain grows louder, closer. It is no longer a distant drumming. It is a constant, steady pattering, a sound that fills the narrow stairwell. It is directly above her now. The sound of a million heavy drops of water landing on the thick slate tiles of the roof. It is a sound of immense energy, but it is a safe sound. It is a sound of shelter. A sound that says you are inside. You are warm. You are dry. It is a lullaby, a constant rushing sound of nature outside. She climbs, round and round. The staircase is long. It passes the first floor of the house. It passes the second floor. It goes all the way to the top, to the attic. And now she sees it, far above her. A faint line of light, a warm golden line. It is the light from her workshop, shining from under the door. It is a beacon. Her destination. It paints a faint golden glow on the underside of the steps. Above her, it guides her the last few feet. She reaches the top. She is standing on a small wooden landing. In front of her is the door. It is not a grand door. It is a small, simple door, made of thick, heavy oak planks. It has a simple black iron latch and a large old iron keyhole. The warm golden light seeps from the crack at the bottom. The sound of the rain here is loud. It is a constant drumming rhythm on the roof, just beyond this door. The air is warm and rich with the scent of herbs and wood smoke. She reaches into the pocket of her robe. Her fingers find what they are looking for. A key. It is not a small key. It is a large, heavy iron key. It is old. Its surface is pitted and worn smooth in places. It is cool to the touch. She lifts it. She guides the key into the large iron lock. The metal of the key makes a faint scraping sound as it slides into the keyhole. A sound of metal on metal. It seats itself firmly. She grips the handle of the key. She turns. The lock is heavy. It resists for a moment, and then she hears the sound of the mechanism inside. A deep, solid sound of heavy tumblers moving. A satisfying sound of a heavy bolt being drawn back. A sound of opening. A sound of permission. The door is unlocked. She removes the key and places it back in her pocket. She places her hand on the cool iron latch. She presses it down. It moves with a solid feeling. She pushes. The small, heavy door swings open inward. It opens with a faint, woody sound of release, and she is met with a wave. A wave of pure comfort, a wave of warm golden light, a wave of sound. The loud, comforting drumming of the rain on the roof, and a wave of scent, herbs and wood smoke and dust and wax. She has arrived. She is home. She steps across the threshold. She steps into her sanctuary. You step inside. You cross the threshold from the narrow, dark, wooden spiral staircase into the room. The floor under your feet is solid wood, wide ancient planks of oak or pine. They are dark and worn smooth and covered in places with small faded woven rugs. Your slippered feet make almost no sound. Ilara reaches back. She pulls the heavy oak door shut. It closes with a deep solid sound, a sound of wood settling into its frame. The heavy iron latch falls into place with a solid mechanical sound of finality. The stairwell is sealed away. The rest of the sleeping house is gone. You are now in a world unto itself, a secret room, a hidden sanctuary at the very top of the world. You stand just inside the door and you let your senses expand. You let the room wash over you. It is a profound and instant embrace. The first thing is the sound. The sound of the rain. Down in the stairwell it was a loud drumming. Here it is your entire world. You are directly beneath the roof. The ceiling is not flat. It is sloped, following the steep pitch of the house. Great, dark, heavy wooden beams as thick as a man's body crisscross the space above you. And between them you can see the dark wooden planks of the roof itself, and the rain is landing directly on that roof. It is a constant, steady drumming, a sound of a million fingertips tapping all at once. It is not a frightening sound. It is not a violent sound. It is a deep, reassuring sound. The thick slate tiles and the heavy timbers muffle it. They take away any sharpness. They transform it from a sound of a storm into a sound of shelter. It is a constant rushing sound, a sound like a great river flowing over your head. It fills the room. It is the bass note, the foundation of the room's peace. It is a sound that instantly makes the inside feel warmer, safer, more precious. It is a sonic blanket that wraps the entire attic, and the warmth. The warmth is wonderful. It is not the gentle steam heat of the train, no. This is the warmth of fire. Across the room, set into a chimney of old red brick, is a small stone fireplace. It is a simple fireplace, a low-arched opening, and inside a fire is burning. It is not a roaring blaze. It is a mature, steady fire. 2 thick logs rest on a bed of glowing orange embers. The flames that curl around the logs are a deep golden orange. They dance slowly, lazily. They cast a warm, living light that pulses gently on the stone hearth and the wooden floor in front of it. This fire is the source of the heat. It is a radiant heat, a dry, clean warmth that fills the entire attic. It makes the air feel comfortable and dry. It is the perfect antidote to the cold, wet rain outside. The fire makes its own sound, a sound much closer than the rain, a soft crackling sound, the sound of dry wood releasing its energy. A gentle snapping sound. It is the room's own heartbeat, a warm percussion that plays along with the steady drumming of the rain. Rain on the roof, fire in the hearth. It is a perfect balance in the scent. The scent is complex. It is a tapestry of aromas. The first is the fire, the clean, dry smell of burning oak or apple wood. A faint, sweet wood smoke that hangs gently in the warm air. It is the scent of warmth, the scent of home. But that is just one note. Woven through it is the scent of the attic itself. The smell of the ancient wooden beams and floorboards. A dry, resinous, almost sweet scent of old pine and cedar. And the scent of dust. Not a dirty dust, but a dry, sleepy dust. The dust of old books of time. And then, the strongest scent. Ilara's scent. The scent of her work. Hanging from the great beams overhead are dozens of bunches of dried herbs. You can see their dark silhouettes in the dim light. Bunches of lavender, bunches of rosemary, thyme, sage, mint, and the warm, dry air of the attic releases their oils. The air is thick with their perfume, a sharp, clean herbal scent, a calming scent of lavender, a sharp pine scent of rosemary. It is the scent of an apothecary, an alchemist's workshop. It is a smell that feels clean and healthy and calm. It mixes with the wood smoke and the dust to create a perfume that is utterly unique. It is the smell of this room and this room alone, and the light. The light is magical. It comes from 2 sources. The first is the fireplace, the pulsing, living orange and golden glow that casts dancing shadows. But it is not the main light. The main light comes from candles, just like in the cartographer's tower, but these are not all the same. There are tall, thick beeswax candles on the mantel above the fireplace. Their flames are large and steady, and they smell faintly of honey. But there are other lights on the workbench that runs along one wall. In small colored glass jars, tiny votive candles. Their flames are small, and they shine through the colored glass. A soft, deep blue light from one jar, a calm emerald green from another, a warm amber from a third. The room is a collection of small flickering lights, golden flames, blue glows, green shimmers. They do not brighten the room. They fill it. They make the shadows deep and soft. They make the air feel thick and golden. It is a light to dream by, a light to work by in the room itself. It is cluttered, but it is not messy. It is the clutter of purpose, of passion. One wall is a vast bookshelf, from the floor to the sloping ceiling. It is filled with ancient books, large leather-bound tomes. Their spines are faded gold. Their pages are brown with age. Titles you cannot read. Scrolls are rolled up and tucked into cubbyholes. The workbench is covered with the tools of her trade. Not clocks, not maps, but glass. Vials and beakers and flasks of every shape and size. They catch the flickering candlelight and the pulsing firelight, and they sparkle. They look like trapped jewels. A mortar and pestle made of heavy black stone sits waiting, small brass scales for measuring, glass rods for stirring, and jars, hundreds of small ceramic and glass jars on shelves behind the bench, each with a handwritten label, dried moon petals, crushed river stones, iron filings, silver thistle. It is a pantry of magic. And finally, the window. The window from our video. It is set deep into the sloping roof. It is not a square window. It is a large, perfect circle, a round window like the eye of the house. Its frame is heavy, dark wood, and through it you cannot see much, only the dark black night and the rain. The rain is not just a sound, it is a visual. It is streaking down the glass. Heavy streams of water, they course down the round pane. They catch the flickering candlelight from inside. They look like rivers of liquid gold and silver. The window is awash with moving light and water. It is a hypnotic, beautiful sight, a living painting, a constant reminder of the storm outside. And the safety inside Alara stands in the center of this, her world, her sanctuary. She breathes in the warm, herbal, smoky air. She listens to the drumming rain and the crackling fire. She feels the warmth on her skin. She is cocooned. She is safe. She is home. And her night's work, her gentle ritual is about to begin. She is calm. She is focused. She is at peace. The attic welcomes her. The storm is her lullaby. The fire is her friend. Alara stands in the center of her warm attic, her sanctuary. The world is alive with sound and scent. The great drumming sound of the rain on the roof is a constant, reassuring presence, a rhythm that holds the room in its steady embrace. It is a sound that isolates and protects. The crackling sound of the fire is the close, warm counterpoint. The air is rich with the perfume of wood smoke, dried herbs, and the deep resinous scent of ancient wooden beams. She stands for a long, calm moment, just breathing, allowing the atmosphere of her sacred workspace to settle around her, to let the sleeping house far below fade from her mind. She has ascended. She has arrived. She has left the mundane world behind. She has entered her place of creation, and now her ritual begins, not with a hurry, but with a series of slow, deliberate acts of peace. Her first movement is toward the fire, the living heart of the room's warmth. She moves with a slow, silent grace. Her soft slippers make no sound on the old wooden planks. The floorboards are worn smooth, and they are warm under her feet. The firelight dances on her simple robe as she approaches. The light is a living thing. It casts her shadow long and wavering behind her. She kneels down on the warm stone hearth. The stone is not hot. It is a deep, penetrating warmth that soaks into her knees. It is a welcoming warmth. She can feel the heat radiating from the arched opening. It is a gentle, dry heat that feels wonderful on her face and hands. It makes her skin tingle faintly. It smells of clean wood smoke and hot stone. The fire is burning steadily. The two logs are now mostly embers, glowing a deep cherry red along their charred black edges. The flames are small and blue and orange, lapping gently around them. The bed of embers beneath is a deep pulsing bed of orange light. It breathes softly, A wave of brighter light, a wave of dimmer light. It is a good fire, a healthy fire. But it needs tending for the long night of work ahead. It needs food. Beside the hearth is a large copper scuttle, dull and dented from years of use. Inside are a few more logs, split and perfectly dry seasoned oak. They smell of the forest, a dry, faintly sweet and nutty scent. She reaches for one, a single thick piece. Her hand is steady. The bark is rough and cool to the touch. She does not toss it. She places it. She leans in. She is not afraid of the heat. She lays the new log carefully on top of the two glowing ones. She positions it just so, bridging them, allowing for air to circulate beneath. The log is dark and cold. It looks out of place in the glowing hearth. The flames below hesitate for a moment as their new guest settles. They lick at it, curious. The new log makes a soft sound, a faint hissing sound of cold moisture and sap meeting the intense heat. A sound of the wood beginning to warm. Then Ilara reaches for the poker, a simple tool of black iron, long and heavy. Its handle is a simple loop, worn smooth by her hand. She takes it. It is cool in her palm. She brings the tip of the poker into the fire, into the glowing ember bed. The tip of the iron disappears into the orange light. She gently stirs. She does not scatter. She gathers. She pushes the glowing embers together underneath the new log. She moves them so they are touching it in several places, a blanket of heat. As she stirs, a shower of tiny bright sparks flies up. They look like tiny golden stars rushing up the soot-black chimney. A sudden burst of light and energy. They make a faint snapping sound. The fire responds to the new air. The flames, which were lazy, now jump. They grow brighter. They make a low, rushing sound of appreciation, a sound of new breath. They begin to lick eagerly at the new log. The new log's dark bark begins to darken further to smoke. The warmth from the fireplace intensifies. It pushes out into the room a new wave of comfort, of robust heat. Ilara nods. She places the iron poker back in its stand, a faint metallic sound of iron on stone. The heart of the room is strong for the night. The fire is tended. She rises slowly to her feet. The warmth clings to her. She turns away from the bright, pulsing fire. She turns to her second ritual, the light. The room is lit by the fire, and a few small votive candles she leaves burning. But for her delicate work, she needs more. She needs a steady golden light. She moves to the mantel above the fireplace. On it stand 3 thick, tall candles in heavy brass holders. They are unlit. They are made of dark yellow beeswax. They smell faintly of honey. Their wicks are dark and trimmed. She reaches for a long wooden splint from a ceramic jar. She leans down. She touches the tip of the splint to a glowing ember in the fireplace. The wood hesitates, smokes for a second, and then it catches. A small, bright orange flame is born on the tip of the wood. A faint smell of sulfur and burning pine fills the air. She lifts this tiny torch, this wand of fire. She brings it to the first candle. She touches the flame to the dark wick. The wick catches instantly. It sputters for a second, a tiny struggle of wax and flame, and then it resolves into a tall, steady, beautiful golden flame. A new light, a new source of warmth. The sweet scent of beeswax joins the smoky herbal air. She moves to the second candle. She touches the flame. A second flame is born, and the third, a third flame. The mantle is now a row of 3 steady golden lights. Their flames dance gently in the currents from the fire. Their combined glow pushes back the shadows in the room. It illuminates the heavy, dark wooden beams overhead. It makes the dried herbs hanging from them cast long, dancing shadows that look like sleeping dragons. She gently blows out the wooden splint. A faint sound of air. A puff of grey smoke. She does not stop. She picks up one of the lit candles in its heavy brass holder. The brass is warm to the touch. It is heavy in her hand. She carries it with her. She is a bringer of light. She moves around the room. She moves to her workbench, a long table of scarred, dark wood. She places the candle at one end. Its light falls on her tools, on the sleeping glass. There is another candle already there, a shorter, thicker one, unlit. She uses the flame from her candle to light it. A fourth flame joins the night. She moves to the vast bookshelves. She places a candle there, a small one in a tin holder. Its light glows warmly on the ancient leather spines. She lights 2 more votive candles in their small colored glass jars. One blue, one green. The flames shine through the colored glass and project faint pools of blue and green light onto the wood. The room, which was dim and shadowy, is now fully awake. It is filled with a flickering golden light, a light that is alive, a light that dances. It is a soft light, a gentle light. It is not bright, it is warm. It makes the room feel like a cocoon, a golden cave, a perfect refuge. The sound of the rain drumming on the roof seems to grow more distant, more comforting. The ritual of light is complete. Now Ilara is ready. She moves to her workbench, the long table that is her altar. It is now bathed in the soft, flickering light of 2 candles. She is ready to prepare her tools. Her work tonight is simple. It is not a complex transmutation. It is a potion of peace, a draught to bottle the feeling of this very room. The feeling of the rain on the roof, the feeling of the warm fire, the feeling of safety. She's going to make a lullaby in a bottle. Her hands move with a practiced grace. They float over the clutter of the bench. She selects her vessels. She picks up a glass flask, a perfect round-bottom flask with a long, slender neck. It is the flask from our video. The glass is perfectly clean, thin, and clear. It catches the flickering candlelight and the pulsing firelight, and it shines. It looks like it is made of trapped light. She holds it up. Kern specs it perfect. She places it on a small metal stand, a tripod. She places a small spirit lamp beneath it, the tiny lamp with a gentle blue flame for a low, steady heat. She selects a beaker, a simple glass cylinder with markings on the side. She selects a glass stirring rod, a long, thin stick of solid glass. It rings softly with a high, clear sound when she taps it, and she selects her mortar and pestle. Not glass, no, this is heavy black stone, perhaps obsidian or basalt. It is cold to the touch. Its surface is polished on the outside, but rough on the inside for grinding. The bowl of the mortar is deep. The pestle is heavy and fits perfectly in her hand. They are tools of crushing, of releasing. Her glass is for combining. Her stone is for preparing. Her tools are laid out on a clean linen cloth. The glass shines. The stone is a pool of darkness. They are ready. She turns from the bench. She moves to the wall of jars, her pantry of magic. The candlelight flickers on the many small glass and ceramic containers. She reads the handwritten labels. The script is elegant and precise. Her fingers trace the shelf. She is looking for her ingredients. She is not in a hurry. She is selecting, considering. She finds the first one. She takes down a large glass jar filled with a pale blue liquid. The label reads, "Collected rainwater." Not just any rain. Rain from a spring storm caught in a silver bowl. It is pure. Ilara stands before her long wooden workbench. It is an altar, now fully prepared. The fire behind her radiates a steady, powerful warmth, a solid presence that fills the entire attic. The sound of its soft crackling is the room's close and intimate heartbeat. The sound of the heavy rain drumming on the slate roof above is the room's vast, shielding lullaby, a constant rushing sound of protection, a reminder of the wild world outside and the profound safety within. Her candles are lit. Their dozen golden flames dance and sway, casting a living, flickering light that makes the shadows in the corners and among the heavy beams move, as if they too are alive. Her tools are clean and ready. The clear glass flask sits waiting on its tripod. The heavy stone mortar is ready to begin. She is surrounded by the complex perfume of her sanctuary, the sweet honey of beeswax, the clean smoke of the oak fire, the sharp pine scent of the herbs hanging from the rafters. Her ritual of preparation is over. Her ritual of creation now begins. Her focus narrows. The vast room with its storm and its fire fades to the periphery. Her entire world shrinks to the small golden circle of candlelight on her workbench. To her 3 simple ingredients: water, flowers, stone. She reaches first for the mortar and pestle, the heavy black stone tools. They are cold to the touch, a deep solid coldness. She lifts the pestle. It is heavy in her hand, a smooth rounded weight, a tool of pure force. She places it gently on the linen cloth. She slides the mortar, a heavy stone bowl, into the center of her workspace. It makes a soft scraping sound on the wood, a sound of stone on wood, solid, final. It is ready. Her hand hovers over her 3 jars. She selects the second one, the small ceramic pot of a deep blue color, the one labeled dried moon petals. She pulls the cork stopper. The cork releases with a faint pop sound, a sound of a vessel being opened, and the scent is released again. But it is stronger now, a pure, undiluted perfume that rises from the pot, the sweet, almost overpowering scent of night-blooming jasmine. A hint of vanilla, and something else, a cool, faint smell like moonlight itself, if moonlight had a scent. It is the scent of dreams. She breathes it in slowly. It calms her. It focuses her. She reaches for a small spoon. Not metal, no. A small spoon carved from mother of pearl. It shines with an iridescent light. She dips the pearly spoon into the jar. She scoops up a small measure of the petals. They are pale, silver white. They look like scraps of silk or tiny feathers. They are so delicate, so light. They shimmer faintly in the candlelight. She lifts the spoon. She hovers it over the dark stone bowl of the mortar. And she tips it. The silvery petals tumble out. They make no sound. They are too light. They fall like a tiny snowfall into the black bowl. The contrast is beautiful. The pale, shimmering petals against the rough, dark stone. She sets the spoon down. She corks the jar. The scent is contained once more. Now she reaches for the pestle. She lifts the heavy stone tool. She places it into the mortar bowl. The stone rests on the bed of soft petals. And she begins. She does not pound. She does not bash. She grinds. She begins a slow circular motion. Her wrist is steady. She presses down firmly and moves the heavy pestle around the rough inner wall of the mortar. And a sound begins. A new sound joins the room. It is not the drumming rain. It is not the crackling fire. It is a soft, dry, whispering sound. A sound of crushing. A sound like walking through the driest leaves. A sound of silk being torn very slowly. It is the sound of the petals giving up their form. It is a gentle, meditative sound. A slow, rhythmic, shushing sound. And as she grinds, the scent explodes. The gentle perfume that rose from the jar is nothing compared to this. As the fibers are broken down, they release their true essence. The air around her workbench is instantly filled with the most intense, beautiful perfume. The scent of jasmine and vanilla and moonlight. It is a sweet, heady, and profoundly calming aroma. It is the smell of a magical garden at midnight. She breathes it in. Her eyes are half closed. Her motion is steady, circular, rhythmic. The whispering sound of the grind, the cloud of perfume. She is in a trance of work. She grinds and grinds until the silken petals are no longer petals. She stops. She lifts the pestle. At the bottom of the black bowl is no longer a pile of silver scraps. It is now a small pile of the finest shimmering powder. It looks like crushed pearls. It glows faintly in the candlelight. The first ingredient is transformed. She sets the pestle down. She reaches for the third jar, the heavy stone crock. Crushed river stones. She lifts the heavy lid. The sound is a dull scrape of stone on stone. She looks inside. It is a fine gray powder, almost white. It smells of minerals, of dust, of the earth itself. The clean scent of dry rock. The scent of grounding, of permanence. She uses a different spoon, a simple wooden scoop. She takes one small scoop of the gray powder. She adds it to the mortar bowl. She pours it gently on top of the shimmering moon petal powder. The dull gray powder covers the shimmering white. Dust on magic. She lifts the heavy stone pestle again. She places it back into the bowl. And she begins to grind again. The sound changes instantly. It is no longer the soft, dry whisper of the petals. It is now a grittier, heavier sound. The sound of stone on stone with powder in between. A soft, grinding sound, a circular sound of friction. It is a more earthy sound, a sound of blending. She moves the pestle around and around, blending the gray powder of the stone with the shimmering powder of the flower. The grounding and the dreaming. Earth and sky. She grinds them together until they are one. A single pale gray powder that shimmers faintly with a hidden light. The scent of jasmine and moonlight is now mixed with the clean scent of minerals. It is a scent of peaceful sleep, of grounded dreams. She stops. The sound of grinding ceases. The room returns to the rain and the fire. The powder is ready, now the water. She reaches for the large glass jar, collected rainwater. She lifts it. It is heavy. She opens the lid. The liquid inside is pale blue. It smells clean like the air after a storm. She lifts the glass beaker. She pours the water from the jar into the beaker. The sound is a clear liquid sound, a sound of filling. She fills it to a precise line on the glass. She sets the heavy jar down. Now she picks up the beaker. She holds it over the round-bottom flask that sits on the tripod. She tilts the beaker, and the pale blue water streams out. It falls into the flask, a perfect, clear stream. It fills the bottom of the flask, a pool of calm blue. She empties the beaker. She sets it down. The flask is now half full of water. The mortar is full of powder. It is time to combine. She lifts the heavy stone mortar. She holds it carefully over the mouth of the flask. She takes a small brush, the soft camel hair brush. She gently sweeps the gray shimmering powder from the mortar into the flask. The powder falls from the stone bowl. It hits the surface of the pale blue water. It does not dissolve instantly. No, it floats on the surface for a moment, a gray shimmering raft. She sweeps all of it in. She sets the mortar down. The powder floats, and then slowly it begins to sink. The water becomes cloudy. The gray powder drifts down like silt. The shimmering particles are caught in the blue liquid like stars in a cloudy sky. It is beautiful. The potion is assembled, but it is not made. Ilara reaches for a match. She strikes it. A faint scraping sound and a flare of light. She brings the flame to the spirit lamp beneath the flask. The wick catches. A small blue flame is born. A flame that is almost invisible. But it is hot. It is a flame of pure heat. The flame kisses the bottom of the glass flask. The heat begins to enter the liquid. Ilara steps back. Her ritual of preparation is done. Her ritual of creation is done. Now comes the final ritual. The ritual of waiting. She will let the flame do its work. She will let the potion brew. She turns from her bench. She moves toward a small, comfortable chair near the round window. She sits, she settles. She is ready to watch the rain. And to wait. She sits. Ilara the alchemist is now a creature of patience. She has moved from her workbench to the small, comfortable armchair tucked in the alcove near the large round window. Her work of action is done. Her work of waiting has begun. The attic is a perfect warm cocoon. The great steady drumming of the rain on the roof is a constant reassuring presence. A sound of the world outside being washed clean. A sound of profound and total safety. The fire in the hearth crackles softly, a warm, bright counterpoint. It fills the room with a pulsing golden light and a deep penetrating warmth. The dozen candles she has lit all flicker gently, their small golden flames dancing in the still warm air. The room smells of beeswax and wood smoke, and the sharp pine scent of dried herbs. It is a symphony of comfort. From her chair she can see her workbench. It is now an altar in progress. The center of her attention is the small glass flask, the one from our video. It sits on its metal tripod, and beneath it the spirit lamp is lit. Its flame is a pale blue color. It is almost invisible, a pure, quiet flame of intense heat. The blue flame licks gently at the curved glass bottom of the flask. The potion is beginning to warm. At first, the change is imperceptible. The flask is filled with the pale blue collected rainwater, and at the bottom is the sediment, the pale gray shimmering powder that she so carefully ground from the dried moon petals and the crushed river stones. It rests at the bottom, a small pile of potential, a small cloud of sleeping magic. Ilara watches. She does not read. She does not write. She just watches. This is part of the process. To be a quiet witness, to lend her calm presence to the work. The tiny blue flame continues its silent work. The heat transfers through the thin glass, and the water responds. The first sign of life. Tiny, tiny bubbles like pinpricks begin to form on the inside of the glass at the very bottom. They are not rising, they are just clinging, a tiny silver coating of air being pushed out of the water, and the water itself begins to move. Not a bubble, but a shimmer, a convection. You can see the heat haze within the liquid, tiny, oily currents of warmer water beginning to rise slowly from the bottom. They rise like ghosts. They disturb the pile of grey powder, and as the water warms, the powder begins to dissolve. The magic is waking up. The pale blue water begins to change. Slowly, so slowly. It is not a sudden shift. It is a transformation. The pale blue of the rainwater begins to thicken, to saturate. The grey powder of the river stones melts into it, giving it a slight opacity, a cloudiness. And the shimmering powder of the moon petals releases its essence. It releases its color. The pale blue water begins to turn a new shade. It is not blue anymore. It is becoming a soft, pale, golden color. The color of the candlelight, the color of honey or of pale amber. The potion is infusing. The water is accepting the magic. Ilara leans forward just a little. Her eyes are fixed on the flask. The heat increases. The tiny blue flame is steady. And now the second stage begins. The tiny bubbles that were clinging to the glass now begin to rise. They are still small, tiny silver, pinpricks that detach from the bottom and float lazily upward. They travel through the now golden, cloudy liquid. They reach the surface. They burst without a sound, a few at first and then more. A gentle stream of tiny silver diamonds. It is a beautiful sight, and the potion begins to bubble. This is the heart of the video loop. It is not a violent rolling boil. It is not the boil of a kettle. No, this is an alchemical simmer. It is a slow hypnotic motion. Large, slow bubbles of air begin to form at the bottom of the flask. They form and they grow. A bubble swells to the size of a marble. It wobbles. It detaches from the glass, and it begins its slow journey upward. It rises through the glowing golden liquid. It is a perfect shimmering sphere. The light of the fire and the candles reflects in its curved surface. It rises, 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 and it reaches the surface. It bursts. But it bursts softly, a gentle sound, a sound like a tiny liquid sigh, a soft plumping sound. And then another bubble forms. It swells, it rises, it bursts, and another. It is a slow, random, and perfectly hypnotic rhythm. The potion is breathing. It is alive. The bubbles rise and burst, a slow, gentle motion, a liquid lullaby. The shimmering particles of the moon petals are caught in these currents. They are swirling now. The entire flask is a slow vortex of glowing gold liquid and shimmering silver particles, a galaxy in a bottle. It is mesmerizing, and as the bubbles burst, they release the steam. This is the second motion, the wisp of steam from our prompt. It is not just white steam. It is not just water vapor. It is the essence of the potion. It is a pale golden steam, a faintly colored wisp that rises from the neck of the flask. It rises in a thin, delicate curl. It catches the warm golden light of the candles. It looks like a solid thread of gold silk. It rises, and then the gentle air currents of the attic catch it. The warm air rising from the fire, the cool air drifting from the window, and the wisp of steam begins to dance. It curls, it twists, it forms a slow spiral. It unfurls. It is a silent, graceful ballet of vapor. It is hypnotic, and it carries the scent. The attic already smelled of herbs and smoke, but now a new aroma is released. It is the scent of the potion itself. The heat is releasing the true perfume. It is the sweet, heady perfume of the moon petals that you smelled before, the jasmine and the vanilla, but now it is mixed with the clean, mineral scent of the river stones and the clean scent of the rainwater. The smell is not sharp. It is soft, it is round. It is a scent that smells like a warm night after a summer rain. It is the smell of peace, of calm, of deep rest. It is the smell of sleep itself. The steam carries this scent through the room. It mixes with the beeswax and the wood smoke. It creates the ultimate atmosphere of comfort. Ilara sits. She watches. Her eyes are half closed. She is mesmerized by her own creation. The slow, gentle bubbling, the soft liquid sound, the slow curling dance of the golden steam, the warm light of the candles and the fire reflecting in the curved glass, the shimmering particles swirling in the golden liquid. It is a perfect hypnotic object, a focus for a tired mind. She breathes in the warm perfume. She listens to the sound of the rain on the roof, the drumming, drumming, drumming. She listens to the sound of the fire, the crackling, snapping. She listens to the sound of her potion, the gentle bubbling. The three sounds weave together. The three lights weave together. The golden candles, the orange fire, the glowing potion. It is a moment of perfect alchemy, a moment of perfect peace. She will sit like this for a long time, just watching, just listening, just being, letting the potion brew, letting the magic build. Ilara sits in her small, comfortable armchair. She is a creature of stillness, a quiet witness to the slow alchemy of the night. Her work is done. Now her patience begins. She waits. She lets the gentle blue flame under the flask do its work. The attic is a perfect, warm cocoon. The great, steady drumming of the rain on the roof is a constant, reassuring presence, a sound of the world outside being washed clean, a sound of profound and total safety. The fire in the hearth crackles softly, a warm, bright counterpoint. It fills the room with a pulsing golden light and a deep, penetrating warmth. The dozen candles she has lit all flicker gently, their small golden flames dancing in the still, warm air. The room smells of beeswax, wood smoke, and the sharp pine scent of dried herbs. It is a symphony of comfort. From her chair she can see her workbench. It is now an altar in progress. The center of her attention is the small glass flask, the one from our video. It sits on its metal tripod, and beneath it the spirit lamp is lit. Its flame is a pale blue color. It is almost invisible, a pure, quiet flame of intense heat. The blue flame licks gently at the curved glass bottom of the flask. The potion is beginning to warm. Ilara's gaze, which had been fixed on the mesmerizing swirl of the potion, now lifts. Her focus softens. She has watched the bubbles rise and watched the steam curl. And now her attention drifts. It moves past the flickering candles. It moves past the rows of sleeping books. It moves to the window. The large round window set deep into the sloping roof. The eye of the attic. The portal to the night. It is a beautiful object in itself. A perfect circle of thick, heavy glass. The frame is made of the same dark, heavy timber as the beams of the roof. It is a solid, reliable frame. It holds the glass securely against the night. The glass itself is not perfect. It is old. It has tiny imperfections. A small trapped bubble of air in one corner. A faint wave in the glass that slightly distorts the view. It is a window with character. A window that has seen 1,000 storms. And tonight it is seeing another. The world outside is black, a deep, impenetrable, wet blackness. There is no moon. There are no stars. The sky is a solid curtain of cloud and water. The night is absolute, and the rain is a solid, living presence. It is not a gentle drizzle. It is a heavy, determined autumn storm, a drenching rain. And it is visible on the glass. The sound is the first thing. The constant heavy drumming on the roof. But on the glass it is a different sound. It is a sharper sound. A sound of heavy drops of water striking the thick pane. A million tiny liquid impacts. A constant pattering that is the percussion of the storm. It is a rushing sound, a sound like a waterfall. But like the sound on the roof, it is not frightening. It is not a loud or a sharp sound. The thick glass and the heavy wood muffle it. They take the sharpness away. They leave only the deep, steady rhythm. The sound is a comforting white noise. A sound that makes the crackling fire sound warmer. A sound that makes the room feel quieter and more secure. Then there is the sight. The window is a performance. A living painting of water and light. The black glass acts as a dark mirror. It reflects the room inside. Ilara can see a faint, blurry reflection of her own candles, small golden smudges of light. She can see the deep orange pulse of the fireplace reflected, a breathing ghost of warmth in the cold glass. She can see the faint outline of her own still figure, sitting in the chair. A shadow watching a shadow, but this reflection is disrupted. It is broken by the rain. The rain is not invisible. It is a visual force. Heavy drops strike the glass and explode in tiny patterns, but mostly it is a river. The water is streaming down the glass, not in small trickles, but in thick, heavy rivulets. They run down the round pane. They follow invisible paths. They merge together. They split apart. They are like tiny rivers racing down a dark mountain, a constant downward flow, a curtain of moving water and the light. This is the magic. The rivulets of rain are not dark. They are filled with light. They catch the flickering golden light from the candles inside the room. They catch the pulsing orange light from the fire, and they fracture it. They bend it. They make it dance. The window is now a canvas of liquid light. A streak of water will catch a candle flame's reflection, and it will look like a river of pure gold is running down the glass. A moment later, it will catch the fire's glow, and it will be a streak of liquid amber. The entire window is a shimmering, hypnotic display, a chaos of light and water. The reflections of the room are smeared and distorted into long, wavering lines of color. It is like looking at a painting of a warm room left out in a storm. It is beautiful. Ilara sits and watches this display. She is mesmerized. It is the perfect companion to her work. The slow bubbling of the potion on the bench is a slow, gentle rhythm. The fast, chaotic rhythm of the rain on the window is its counterpart. One is a tiny, controlled magic inside. The other is a vast, wild magic outside. And she is perfectly poised between them. Held in the balance, the contrast is everything. It is the heart of the comfort. Outside is the cold, a deep, wet, chilling cold, the kind of cold that soaks into your bones. Outside is the dark, a total, lightless blackness of cloud and night. Outside is the chaos, the wind, the rushing water, the wild energy of the storm. And inside is the warmth, the dry, steady, radiant heat from the fire, the gentle warmth of the candles, the warm, scented air. Inside is the light, the flickering golden glow that fills the room like honey. Inside is the calm, the slow bubbling of the flask, the stillness of the herbs, the quiet focus of the alchemist. The window is the barrier. It is the shield. It is the guardian. The rain is not a threat. It is a protector. It is a curtain of water and sound that is sealing her in. It is cutting her off from the rest of the house, from the rest of the world. It is making her attic sanctuary the only place in the universe, a tiny warm golden bubble flying safely through a cold dark storm. The sound of the rain is the sound of her safety. The sight of the rain is the visual proof of her shelter. It makes the fire seem hotter. It makes the candles seem brighter. It makes the herbal air smell sweeter. Ilara watches this hypnotic dance of water and light for a long time. Her breathing slows. It begins to match the rhythm of the room, the slow, steady drumming of the rain, the gentle crackling of the fire. Her thoughts, which were focused on her potion, now begin to soften, to drift. She is no longer actively waiting. She is simply being. She is a part of the room, a part of the night, a part of the storm. She is a creature of warmth and light, held safely inside a shell of stone and wood. While the world is washed clean outside, she is at peace. The potion continues its slow bubbling. The fire continues its steady crackle. The rain continues its endless lullaby. Everything is in its perfect place. The attic is a perfect warm vessel. It holds the gentle sound of the rain, the soft crackling of the fire, and the sweet herbal perfume of the brewing potion. Hilara sits in her chair, lost in the hypnotic dance of the rain streaking down the round window. The liquid light of the storm has lulled her into a state of deep calm, a waking dream. She is floating in a sea of peace. She has been waiting, patiently, without measure. Time in this attic is not measured by clocks. It is measured by process, by the slow transformation of things. She has been waiting for the potion to be ready, and now a change occurs. Her attention is drawn away from the window. It is pulled back to her workbench. A new scent is rising from the flask. The scent of the moon petals and the river stones and the collected rainwater has been steeping and bubbling and concentrating. The steam that rises in its gentle golden curl is now richer, deeper. The sweetness of the jasmine has softened. The mineral scent of the stone is warmer. It smells like clean sleep, like a warm pillow. And the potion itself has changed. Hilara leans forward. She rises slowly from her armchair. The chair releases her with a soft sound. She glides silently across the wooden floor. She stands once more before her altar, her workbench. She looks down into the flask. The liquid is no longer a cloudy, pale gold. The heat has worked its magic. The long, slow simmer has clarified it. The potion is now clear, a perfectly transparent liquid the color of pale amber or the lightest honey. The shimmering particles of the moon petals are still there, dancing in the slow bubbles. They have not dissolved. They have been infused. They are like tiny silver stars swirling in a golden sky. The potion is beautiful, and it is ready for the final step. The transfusion. Hilara reaches up to a small shelf above her bench, a shelf carved into the heavy stone of the chimney. It is a place of honor. On this shelf sits a single object, a tiny crystal vial. It is no larger than her thumb. It is corked with a small stopper of dark wood and sealed with blue wax. The vial itself is cut with many facets, like a diamond. It is filled with a liquid that seems to glow faintly from within. It is a pale silver light. The label on the shelf beneath it, written in Hilara's perfect script, reads, "Liquid starlight. This is her most precious ingredient." She collects it herself. On the clearest nights from a silver bowl left on the roof, it is a dew that forms only when the nebula is brightest. It is her catalyst, her magic. She takes the vial in her hand. It is cool to the touch. The crystal feels smooth and heavy. She can feel a faint, tingling energy from it, a hum so faint it is almost imperceptible. She brings it to the workbench. She holds it in the warm candlelight. The liquid inside shines. It is the color of the stars. With her other hand, she reaches for a tiny silver knife. She carefully breaks the blue wax seal. The wax flakes away. She sets the knife down. She grips the tiny wooden stopper. She twists. She pulls. The stopper comes free with a tiny sound, a sound like a faint kiss, and a scent is released. It is not a perfume. It is the scent of the air outside, the scent of the cold, clear night sky, the scent of ozone and snow and distance. It cuts through the warm herbal scent of the room like a shard of crystal. Hilara lifts the vial. She hovers it over the open neck of the gently bubbling golden flask. She is steady. Her hand does not shake. She is in perfect control. She tilts her wrist just a fraction. She is not pouring. She is aiming for a single drop. A single drop of the shining liquid clings to the lip of the vial. It is a perfect, shimmering sphere. It holds all the light of the room in its tiny surface. It holds the reflection of the candle flames, the reflection of Hilara's focused eye. It hangs there for a heartbeat, a drop of pure starlight. And then it falls from the vial. It falls through the curling golden steam. It falls down the long glass neck of the flask, and it hits the surface of the hot bubbling golden liquid. There is no sound, no splash. It is a silent contact. A single drop of starlight meeting the potion, and the potion reacts instantly. The moment the drop touches the surface, a transformation begins. It is a beautiful silent explosion. A wave of light blooms from the point of impact. The potion, which was a pale golden amber color, is now changing. The starlight is a catalyst, a seed. A tiny drop of pale blue light hits the gold, and the blue begins to spread. It is like watching ink in water, a beautiful, slow, swirling plume of color. The golden liquid is overtaken. It is transformed. In a matter of seconds, the entire flask is no longer gold. It is now a deep, vibrant, glowing blue. The color of the nebula outside the other window. The color of a deep twilight sky, and it is not just a color. It is a light. The potion is now glowing. It is bioluminescent. It is shining with its own internal light, a soft, steady, beautiful blue glow. It is brighter than the blue votive candle. It is a living light. The flask is now a beacon. It casts a soft blue light onto Ilara's hands, onto her face, onto the workbench. It is a calm light, a peaceful light. It mixes with the golden light of the candles. It creates an atmosphere of pure magic, and the potion's motion changes. The slow bubbling stops. The heat from the spirit lamp is still there, but the liquid is no longer bubbling. The transfusion is complete. The potion is now still, almost. The shimmering particles of the moon petals are still suspended in the glowing blue liquid, and they are swirling, slowly, gently. They are caught in a slow magical vortex, a galaxy of silver, stars swirling in a blue nebula. It is the most hypnotic sight. The liquid is alive with a slow internal motion, a gentle swirl, a calm dance, and the steam. The steam that rises from the neck of the flask is no longer golden. It is now a pale blue wisp. It rises and curls in the air, a thread of blue magic. And the scent has changed one last time. The sharp herbal notes are gone. The heady perfume of the jasmine is gone. The scent that rises now is indescribable. It is the smell of the rain, the clean, fresh smell of the water, and the smell of the river stones, that clean mineral scent. And something else, the scent of the starlight, the cool ozone scent. It is the smell of a clean world after a storm. It is the smell of profound calm. It is the smell of peace bottled. Ilara looks at her creation, the glowing blue flask, the swirling silver stars, the curling blue steam. She breathes in the scent of clean rain. She watches the gentle light. Her work is done. The lullaby is made. She reaches out. She blows out the tiny blue flame of the spirit lamp, a soft puff of air. The flame is gone. The flask now sits, glowing softly in the warm candlelight of the attic, as the rain drums softly on the roof. It is perfect. Ilara's work is done. The potion, her small bottled lullaby, sits on the workbench. The flask, no longer heated by the flame, is still and warm. The glowing blue liquid shines with its own soft internal light, casting a calm, ethereal blue glow on the dark wood and the other glass vials. The silver particles of the moon petals have begun to settle slowly, like a fine dust of stars drifting down to the bottom. The pale blue wisp of steam has thinned to a mere breath as the potion cools. The air is thick with its gentle perfume, the scent of clean rain and quiet dreams. Ilara's first act is one of completion. She reaches for a small crystal bottle with a heavy glass stopper. She picks up a tiny glass funnel. She places the funnel in the neck of the bottle. Lifting the still warm flask, she pours the glowing blue liquid. The potion flows in a smooth, silent stream. A ribbon of liquid twilight, it fills the crystal bottle slowly. The blue light is captured inside the crystal. It shines and refracts through the faceted glass, casting tiny blue patterns on her hands. She fills it to the brim. She sets the empty flask down. She removes the funnel. She picks up the heavy glass stopper and presses it firmly into the bottle. The fit is perfect. The potion is sealed. A single dose of peace. A night's work complete. She places the glowing bottle on a high shelf, where it joins other bottles of different colors, glowing softly in the darkness like captured fireflies. Now, her ritual of closing begins. It is as slow and as meditative as her work. She does not scrub or clatter. She restores order. She takes the glass flask, the beaker, and the funnel. She moves to a small stone basin in the corner. She pours clean water from a pitcher. She rinses each piece slowly. The sound of the water splashing gently in the stone basin is a new sound, a clean sound. It joins the rain and the fire. She dries the glass with a soft linen cloth until it is clear and sparkling. She places the tools back in their proper places on the shelf. She wipes the black stone mortar and pestle clean. They return to their pool of darkness on the bench. Her workbench, which was an altar of creation, is now a space of clean order waiting for the next night. She turns to the fire. The last ritual. The logs have burned down. They are no longer flaming logs. They are a deep and magnificent bed of glowing embers. A pile of pure radiant heat. The room is bathed in their deep orange glow. It is too hot to let burn unattended. She takes a small iron shovel. She scoops up the ash from the edges of the hearth, the cool grey powder, and she gently banks the fire. She pours the ash over the glowing embers. It is a gentle burial, a way of putting the fire to bed. The ash lands on the embers, and the bright orange glow is instantly muffled. The light dims, the embers darken. A small cloud of warm, ashy smoke rises, smelling of dust and burnt wood. She covers them completely. The fire is no longer glowing, but it is not out. It is sleeping. The embers will stay warm beneath their ash blanket all night. They will be ready to be woken again tomorrow. With the fire banked, the room changes. The bright orange light is gone. The room grows dimmer, softer. The only light now is the flickering golden light of the many candles and the faint blue glow of the potion on its shelf. The room is now truly ready for sleep. Ilara's work is finally done. She moves back to her armchair by the round window. She sinks into its soft cushions. A long, slow sigh of release escapes her, a sound of a body finally at rest. She is not done. There is one last reward. Beside her chair, a small kettle sits. On a trivet near the hearth, kept warm by the radiant heat, she lifts it. She pours a simple cup of herbal tea. The steam rises. It is not a potion. It is just tea. Chamomile, perhaps. She holds the warm mug in her hands. She cradles it. The warmth soaks into her palms. And she sits. She is a creature of perfect peace. She is in her attic sanctuary. Her body is held in a soft chair. She is warmed by the sleeping fire and the hot mug in her hands. The room is lit by the gentlest flickering golden light. The air smells of beeswax and herbs and clean rain. And the sound. The sound is her final lullaby. The great, steady drumming of the rain on the roof and the window. A constant, rushing sound of safety. A sound that drowns out all other thoughts. A sound that says, sleep. The fire is no longer crackling. It is silent beneath its ash blanket. The potion is no longer bubbling. It glows silently on its shelf. There is only the sound of the rain, endless, gentle, hypnotic. Ilara looks at the window. She watches the liquid light, the golden rivulets of water streaking down the dark glass. The motion is constant, random and beautiful. She watches the flickering candles. Their flames dance slowly, a silent ballet. She sips her tea. The warm liquid travels down, bringing a gentle warmth from within. Her eyelids grow heavy. The long night. The warmth, the sound. the peace. It is an irresistible combination. She is being pulled gently into sleep. It is not a fall. It is a sinking. A slow, delicious sinking into the soft chair, into the warm air, into the sound of the rain. Her thoughts begin to soften, to unravel. They lose their shape. They become like the steam from her cup, rising and curling and gently disappearing. There is no past. There is no future. There is only this moment, this warm, golden room, this perfect, safe attic, this sound of the rain. Drumming, drumming, drumming. Her breath slows. It matches the rhythm of the night. Inhale slowly, exhale fully. Her hand loosens around the warm mug. Her head tilts to the side. It rests against the soft back of the chair. She is drifting. She is floating. She is not Ilara the Alchemist anymore. She is a part of the attic, a part of the storm, a part of the night. She is a sleeping soul in a perfect cocoon of warmth and sound. The candles flicker softly, standing watch. The fire sleeps warmly under its ash blanket. The potion glows its calm blue light, a tiny magical nightlight, and the rain sings its endless lullaby on the roof. Everything is in its place. Everything is at peace. It is time. Time for you, too, to let go, to follow her, to sink into the warmth, to float on the sound of the rain. Rest, sleep now, good night.